What's up, guys? This is the Cathaltist, and today we're going to be looking at a brand new game. It's out for the PC right now. It's called Nidhogg. You can download it from Steam for about $11.99, I believe. Maybe $14.99 now. I'll check on that later. I'll put it in the description somewhere. Anyway, this is a two-player fencing game. You can play it either online, like I'm going to do here, or with another person just sitting at the keyboard. Or you can just play it against the computer, but it's not quite as much fun that way. Basically, it's a very simple two-dimensional setup where you're essentially just trying to get to the other side of the stage. So here I'm playing as the yellow guy, so my goal is to get to the right-hand side of the stage here. Orange guy's goal is to get to the yellow side. Like I said, very simple design and everything. But it's actually a really complex little game. I know the art style doesn't exactly demonstrate that, but that's part of the beauty of this thing. Essentially, you play it using just the A, S, W, D, F, and G keys. A and D are just there to move you left and right. G is to jump. F is to attack. It also punches if you're unarmed, does a dive kick if you're in the air, and does a sweeping kick if you're on the ground when you hit it. Like that, right there. So then, what that leaves you with is the W and S keys, which do a couple interesting things here. First, if you're standing still, they change the elevation of your sword so that you can attack high, medium, or low. However, if you go past... like, let's say you were going to hold down W, so you go past the high position with the sword, you go into a throwing stance, which allows you to just toss the sword in a straight, non-arcing path across the entire screen until it hits something. This will kill anything that hits, including you if you happen to spawn in front of it, which I think one of us ends up doing here in a second, at some point, anyway. Yeah, whatever. It'll happen eventually. We don't actually kill ourselves with it, but it comes close enough that I think the other person gets a kill because the first person was so shocked that it happened. Anyway, beyond that, you can also go down with it, so that if you go past the low stance, you actually go into a crouch. And if you do that while running, you go into a nice roll that lets you get underneath any attack that isn't a low attack. The low attack will just immediately stop you and skewer you on the other person's sword if you try it while rolling. I mean, if you roll into someone who's doing it. The other interesting part is the person doesn't actually have to be attacking you to kill you with the sword, they just have to be standing still. And essentially you'll do the rest yourself by running headfirst into it. Basically, the only other ways to kill someone besides throwing the sword at them or just impaling them would be the basic stab attack. Which, you know, it's what you do with a sword. Like that. And that. And then the one last option that you have at that point, which I'm not sure if we actually get another good example of it in here or not, but basically if you have someone prone on the ground, like after hitting them with a dive kick or punching them enough, or tripping them with a sweep attack like that, there it is. You can break their neck. And so that pretty much covers all the basic controls and the moves you can do and everything. The game itself, I was talking to a couple friends when trying to explain this to them, and I tried to find a good example just playing against some random person online at one point. And I said, oh yeah, it's just a nice fun game you can pick up at any time just to kill a little time and everything with it. And I was trying to emphasize just how easy it was to just kind of pick up and then put down afterwards. The match that I got into went on for over an hour of just me and this other guy going back and forth killing each other on the first screen. We couldn't even make it to any of the other parts of the stage. So while it is a good one for just killing a little time, make sure that you do have a bit of legitimate time to dedicate to it, just in case you come up against someone else who really turns it into a good challenge. Just going back to the gameplay basics and everything, I can safely say one of the most embarrassing ways to die, beyond impaling yourself on your own thrown sword, would be to just fall down these holes like we keep doing here. So, might want to avoid that. Yep. Well, yeah. Don't want to really avoid that. Yep, there goes another one. Another aspect of this, if you're using the jump attacks, make sure the other person does not have their sword held in the high position, because it will instantly just impale you on it when you get near them. Even if you're doing a dive kick, if you don't aim it quite right. Let me see, what next? Oh yeah, since the whole point of the person on offense, so the person who has the arrow at the top of their screen, the whole point of the game for them is just to get to the other side. If the arrow is not there for you, you're officially defending, which gives you the ability to just keep respawning in front of them if you want to. So, just quick tip, what happens here, do not, I repeat, do not try chasing after the person if they get past you. You'll never catch up to them, and they'll just run right through the door. What you have to do is go off the screen. So, basically, if you're trying to stop someone who's going to the right, you want to run to the left, so that you go off the screen in the opposite direction, and you will then immediately spawn in front of them with a sword. So, if you happen to have lost yours during battle, or just throwing it or something, you will instantly come back with one. And there we go, down the holes again. So, this is just one stage out of 4, I believe. This is probably my favorite one, just because it's the most open spaces and everything like that. But it still has obstacles like the doorways and the holes. Some of the other ones just feel a little too... Well, 2 of the other ones feel very cramped, and the last one just has colors that really hurt my eyes. Not quite like this, which this I consider to be an awesome background. Looks absolutely beautiful, and really puts the whole setting... It really gives you a good idea of the entire setting of the thing. But, yeah, the other one just takes place in the clouds, and it's a lot of really, really bright pinks and reds and whites, to the point where it's a little painful to look at. Yeah. So, the game itself is essentially just 2 people fighting. There's no real story or anything. You're 2 people trying to get to an arena so a giant worm can eat you. Hence the name Nidhogg. Essentially, from what I remember of Norse mythology, the Nidhogg's a dragon, or in this case a worm, that chews on the roots of the world tree. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they were going for with the giant worm here, but I figure, hey, it's close enough. We can use that as an explanation for the name anyway, at least. So there you go. Yeah, essentially that's Nidhogg. I'm trying to think what else I can really add to this, and there isn't much of anything. The game kind of speaks for itself. If you like this sort of thing, buy it. Don't hesitate, just buy it. At the time I'm putting this video up, there is a sale. I checked it just now. It's still going on. It'll be $11.99 for... Jeez, looks like maybe a few more hours. Then it's going to go right back up to $14.99. This just came out about a week ago, so, you know. This is still pretty early on in its release and everything, so I don't know if they'll put out any more patches or anything like that. There's not really anything that seems like it needs to be fixed. The game is pretty perfect as it is. So yeah, basically I'd say just jump on that deal if you still can. It's a great game. And there's a few different variant modes too, where you can set it so that you're not necessarily playing with swords. You can also play just unarmed combat one. There's super fast, super slow, low gravity, all sorts of other things like that. So yeah, basically, great game. Pick it up. If you have Steam, there's no reason not to buy this one.